and today I've got video game collecting tips part 2 for you guys. I've had a lot of people request that I do a part 2, and I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I finally decided to. If you haven't seen the first video, I would definitely recommend watching that before you watch this one. There will be a link in the description to that video, and I just rewatched the video just before making this one to make sure that I wasn't going to repeat myself. So definitely watch that one. This one's going to be expanding on a lot of the things I talked about in the first one. So like I said, if you haven't seen it, please check it out before you watch this one. It will definitely help you. So first up, while watching the last one, I gave a tip that was basically don't make game collecting a job. And I wanted to expand on that because some people have said that I've kind of been breaking that rule recently, but I wanted to clear some stuff up and basically tell you that I am not. With that tip, I said don't make collecting a job, and I went on to say if you're not having fun with video game collecting and it's becoming a chore, something that you're expecting yourself to do, go out and find games, that's when I would say it's becoming a job. And I don't mean a job as in you're making money from it. I mean a job as in, you know, something that you're like requiring yourself to do that you're not having fun with and stuff like that. And right now, it is becoming a job for me, but it's becoming a job in the sense that I'm making money, and I'm making money so that I can go home for Christmas. I'm not just, you know, trying to make money, and it's still fun for me. I'm still having as much fun as I would if I was just buying games to keep, so it's not becoming a chore, it's not becoming something I'm not enjoying. I definitely am still enjoying it just as much as I have before. So I just want to clear that up, and now we'll get into the tips. So in my last one, I talked about going to Goodwills and pawn shops and all sorts of places like that to find games. And there's some places that I left out that are very important that I wanted to expand upon. I didn't talk at all about garage sales or yard sales, and those are honestly awesome places to get stuff. And there's some people here on YouTube like Business17 and some other people who get most of their stuff from garage sales. Now, I don't go to garage sales as much as I would like to. I went to more before I moved here to Florida. There doesn't seem to be as many in Florida as there was in Washington, but basically, if you go to garage sales, you're not guaranteed to find games, so don't expect to every time. I've been to a few since I've been here in Florida. I've only found games once or twice, and it's kind of a letdown, but at the same time, if you want to find games, you have to search at these places. So when you go to garage sales, you could find stuff that's overpriced. You know, it's kind of the same as Craigslist. You know, think about people that go on Craigslist. They could be the people having the garage sales. They could be overpricing their stuff, or they could be underpricing it. You know, it's just kind of hit and miss, just like Craigslist is. So I've heard of people finding stuff at garage sales for very cheap. Like, I heard someone, they said they found like a stack of 100 to 200 Nintendo Powers, and the whole stack was like 20 bucks, and they were all, you know, Super Nintendo, NES, N64 era ones, and that's an amazing deal. But, you know, I've also personally seen stuff at garage sales that was extremely overpriced. Just recently, I saw like a Tony Hawk Ride Game and Board like for the Wii, and they wanted like $60 for that. And you can buy those brand new for like 20 bucks, and they still don't even sell at that price. So, like I said, it's just a hit and miss, but definitely check out garage sales and yard sales. And a lot of people post their sales on Craigslist too. But I would think that with those ones, there'd be more collectors going to that sale, so you might have a harder time finding stuff. But if you can, get there when they open, get there first, so you don't miss out on something. Other places that I want to talk about are video game stores. And, you know, this is kind of an obvious one. Obviously, they're going to have video games at a game store. But I don't just mean GameStop. I mean stuff like places like Play and Trade and other little, you know, single game stores that you might have in your area. And I'm sure all of you guys watch the Game Chasers. You've seen You've probably seen their video where they find the rare Flintstones game on the NES at a game store for like $2.99 or something crazy. And that's why I'm recommending going to game stores. Most of the time, I would say 95% of the time, a retail game store, an actual store, is going to be either at or above eBay pricing on everything they have. But there are going to be times when they slip up or something happens and for some reason a rare game is priced low. Or maybe they just have good deals in general, so it's not a bad idea to check these places out. The store that I go to is called Gamers Inc., and they're pretty close to my house, and while most of their stuff is at eBay prices, they pay a decent amount in trade value for the stuff that I take in when I do, and I'm able to get stuff at a pretty good deal. So just definitely check out all the game stores. Even if you only go there once, it's good. It's a good idea to go and see what their prices are like, so you can know for the future. Another place that I want to talk about that I didn't talk about in my last video is movie stores. Movie stores generally always have video games. Maybe not a lot, but they probably have some at least. And there's bigger stores like Hollywood Video and Blockbuster. Unfortunately, a lot of them are going out of business, but there are still some around like that. And if they rent movies, they most likely rent video games, and when they're done with them, they sell them off. So definitely check out places like that, but what I mainly want to talk about are smaller stores, like used movie stores, and places like that. In Vancouver, where I'm from, Vancouver, Washington, there's a couple stores. They're like, I think they have at least 2 stores, but it's called Movie Movers. And they mostly focus on movies, but at each store they have a game section. And while a lot of their stuff is eBay pricing, I have found some good deals there before. Sorry, I found a Morrowind Game of the Year edition at one of them for like $2.99, and that's like, you know, the Game of the Year edition is like a $20–$25 game, so that was a great deal. So just definitely check out all the movie stores in your area. Chances are they're going to have some kind of games. It might not be a lot, but it is definitely worth finding out what they have. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is GameStop, and this kind of goes with the game stores kind of thing. I talked about GameStop in my last video, and I wanted to expand upon what I said in that video. Basically, I said that GameStop is overpriced on most of their games, but some stuff is cheap, and I was referring mainly to PS2 and GameCube. But I wanted to update what I said because, as you guys know, most of them don't carry PS2 or GameCube games anymore. And when GameStop has a new game that comes out, it's usually $60, and you know, it's $60 everywhere, brand new, that's fine. But if someone trades that game in used within like the first couple weeks, a used copy of the game is $55, and that's overpriced for a used copy. Why would you spend $55 on a used one when you could spend $5 more and get it brand new? And if you wait a couple weeks after a game comes out and you search for it used on eBay, it's going to be much cheaper than it is at GameStop. I can guarantee that. But they're not overpriced on everything, and as I was watching my last video, I kind of got the idea that it seemed like I was saying most of their stuff is overpriced, and I want to take that back. When you buy stuff online, you have to factor in shipping, and you have to factor in, you know, the plane. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You have to understand that you're not going to physically see the game before you buy it. And that's what you do get when you go to GameStop. You can hold the game in your hand, you can check to see how scratched it is, or if it has all the paperwork with it, and all that kind of stuff. And you don't get that with online. You can get pictures, but nothing compares to holding the physical game in your hand before you buy it. And if a game on eBay is like $10 plus $4 shipping, sometimes you can find that game at GameStop for $4.99, and you don't have to pay shipping. You know, there might be some tax, but that's not much at all. And I used to collect 360 games and PS3 games. This was a while ago. I don't collect them now. I used to, though, and I wasn't really playing them that much, so I was just buying games to collect, so I would try to find cheap games. and I never bought anything online because you can find cheap games at GameStop. And they usually have like a bin in the middle of the room with a bunch of games that says like $14.99 and under, or $9.99 and under, or $4.99 and under, and there's definitely deals to be had. You can't really get a game, a PS3 or a 360 game that's not a sports game, for under $5 on eBay, especially when you factor in shipping. So don't give up on GameStop. I know that they rip people off and their prices sometimes are extremely high, but you just have to understand that they are a store, and you have a better chance of getting a good conditioned copy buying in person than you do online, because you can physically inspect it before you pay for it. So the next thing that I want to talk about, I have written down here, is how to find even more games at the places you're looking. And this is basically going to be useful for garage sales, flea markets, pawn shops, and thrift stores. And I do this all the time. When I go to a pawn shop, I look at all the stuff they have on the floor, I check all their games, I check the glass cases, I do all that stuff, and then I find someone that works there and I ask them if they have any more games in the back that I can maybe take a look at. 90% of the time they let me, and what you gain by doing this is that you get to basically have first dibs on stuff that hasn't been put out yet. And I honestly get most of my games from the back at my local pawn shop. Every time I go, they have the same stuff on the floor. I always ask to see the games in the back. New stuff that they haven't put out yet is in these piles they bring out to me, and I get first dibs on it. And I found amazing stuff in there. I found Diablo and Castlevania Chronicles for the PS1 for $1 each. I found tons of Super Nintendo and N64 games. I found multiple Marios, Resident Evils, stuff like that for the GameCube. Tons of Kingdom Hearts and Halos, and just awesome stuff. So definitely, when you go to a pawn shop, check what they have out first, but then ask if you can see the games in the back. And even sometimes they'll take you into the back and you can see all the stuff they have. And that's very cool. I love when they take me into the back rather than bring the games out to me, because sometimes, you know, they might leave some stuff behind, you have no idea, but if you're back there, you can see everything. And the same thing goes for thrift stores. For Goodwill and stuff like that, it doesn't really work as well, because the people there, they don't really care if you buy something because they're going to get paid anyway. But if it's like a small thrift store where it's like a mom and pop thrift store and you're looking to buy something that they don't have out there, if they have it in the back, they're probably going to get it out because they want to make a sale. So just always ask. Same thing with garage sales. Just, if they don't have it out, just ask them. Say, you wouldn't happen to have any video games for sale, would you? And, you know, what's the worst they can say? No, they're not going to say it even in a mean voice. They'll just say, no, sorry. So it's definitely worth asking. Next, I want to talk about Craigslist a little bit. And if you guys are familiar with my videos, I get tons of stuff from Craigslist. And people ask me sometimes, like, how do you get so much awesome stuff from Craigslist? And the reason is that I don't really buy stuff from people's ads. People contact me with stuff they want to sell because I have wanted ads. And this is the best way to go about using Craigslist to find video games. And I'm not saying stop checking the ads, because I check the ads too, but I have wanted ads. And people call me and text me and email me every single day with stuff that they want to sell. And I have like a specific formula that I use in each of my ads. I have one ad that has everything I'm looking for. I have an actual list of the games for each system that I want. And I have a big ad like that, and then I have individual ads that'll say, like, the title will be like Wanted Super Nintendo games or Wanted PlayStation 1 games. And I post all that kind of stuff. The more ads you post, the more people will contact you. And I know it sounds like spam, but it's really not spam as long as if your ads are different. You know, people will flag it too. That's something I wanted to make a point of. People will flag your ads, and they will get flagged very often. So if you're going to be posting wanted ads on Craigslist, be prepared to repost them a lot. And as long as your ads are different, as long as you're not posting the same exact thing, you're not breaking any rules, and the people that are flagging you are most likely competition. So just ignore them and repost it. Every time they flag it and you repost it, your ad goes right back to the top, increasing the amount of people that see your ad. And that's really what has helped me. Before, when my ad was not getting flagged, I would have maybe 2 or 3 calls a week. Now that my ads are getting flagged and I repost them all the time, I probably get 10 to 20 calls a day. And, you know, people flagging my ads is kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's really helping me. And, you know, I'd rather have people flagging my ads than not, because I get to repost them, they go right back to the top, everybody sees them. It's very awesome. Next, I want to talk about forums, and I kind of mentioned it in my last video a little bit, but not really. I post on 2 different forums. I post on Nintendo Age, which I post on less frequently, and I post on N64 Forever. And I've done tons of trades, I've bought stuff and I've sold stuff to people on these forums, and it's a great way to find good deals. And, you know, it's not only for buying and selling and trading. You can talk to these people, and it's kind of like the YouTube community, except there's no videos. It's just tons of collectors getting together, talking about what they love and what they love to collect, which is video games. And for anyone that's into video games, you know, that's an appealing thing to have, you know, to talk to other people that are interested in the stuff you're interested in, and it's a lot of fun. So there will be links to the 2 forums I post on, plus some others, in the description of this video. And I updated the last video with these links as well. So definitely check out the descriptions of both videos to find all sorts of links that will help you guys out. Next, I want to talk about something important that I didn't talk about at all in my last one, and that's catalog your collection. If you're on Nintendo Age, if you have an account, they have these tools that can help you catalog your collection, and you can basically start a collection on there, and you pick what system it's for. You pick if you want just the US games, or if you want Japanese or PAL, and they basically have a list of all the games, and then they have a checklist where you can check if you have the cartridge, the instructions, the box, or if it's sealed. You can give each item a rating based on condition from 1 to 10, and that's really helpful. I use that not as much as I should. I haven't really been keeping up with it, but I do keep a list on my computer of every game that I have, along with all the systems and accessories and everything, so that if I'm out shopping somewhere and I come across a game that I'm not sure if I have already, I can just look at the website. Usually, you know, people have internet on their phones and stuff. I can look at the website, see if I have the game, see if I need to pick it up, because I have a lot of games, and, you know, I have over 2,000 games now. I can't keep track of every single one for every system, so it's really helpful to have a list, either physical or on your phone or something, of what you have, so that you're not accidentally buying doubles. This one is technically number 8 that I have written down here, and that is pay attention to newer games coming out. And keep in mind that history repeats itself. And one example that I wanted to use for this is when Mario All-Stars was released for the Wii. It was a limited release, and it sold out very quickly. It was about $30 or $40 when it first came out, and then it sold out, and on eBay, copies of the game new were selling for like $80 to $100, which is crazy. And now that the Kirby Dream Collection is released, I kind of have a feeling that it's going to do the same thing, and that's why I have 3 copies of it. Because history repeating itself, I can look back and see when the special compilation of the Mario games came out, it sold out, and then it went way up in value. Now that the Kirby one's out, I have a feeling it's going to do the same thing. So, just keep that in mind, especially if you're looking for games to sell. It's definitely an awesome thing to have, and just keep that in mind. Next up is to protect your collection, and this one's very important, and I don't know why I didn't talk about it in the first part, but I really should have. Everyone's going to have their limitations on what they can do, but if you can, then you should really think about investing in box protectors if you collect boxed games. And, you know, there's tons of different different, like, I guess brands they would be, or different people who sell box protectors for video games. So there's definitely plenty of options out there. But if you want to keep your boxes in good shape, box protectors are a great way to do that. They keep dust out, they keep, they protect it from shelf wear and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a good thing to have. But also, you want to make sure that you're not storing your games in a dangerous location. And what I mean by a dangerous location is, you don't want to be storing your games in a leaky basement, or you don't want to be storing your games in a low area where, your dog could bite them and chew them up, or your baby could get them and crumple up the boxes and stuff like that. You just want to keep them in a safe location, and, obviously, if you have a playroom where your kids are playing in all the time, that's probably not an area you want to keep your game collection in, because it's probably going to get destroyed. So just make sure you're keeping them in a safe area and protecting them with, whatever means you can. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is kind of weird, but be careful about who knows about your collection. And the reason I say this is because I've never heard of it happening to anyone, but it makes sense. If someone sees your collection and knows what it's worth, they're a stranger or something, there's always a slight chance that they could think about maybe robbing you or breaking into your house or something along those lines, I mean. And you just want to kind of be careful. If you're doing a Craigslist deal and someone seems really shady, you probably don't want to show them, the thousands of dollars worth of games you have in your bedroom. But I don't want to discourage anyone from sharing their collections, because it is very fun if you're doing a Craigslist deal and you're trading games with a collector, and you're chatting it up and he's telling you about all the games he has and you're talking back and forth. It's fun to show him your collection and talk about it and stuff like that. So just be careful. It is fun to share your collection with people, but if someone seems a little shady, you probably don't want to show them and let them know what you have. But like I said, just be careful and just have fun. So that's all the stuff that I want to talk about in this video. Hopefully it's a lot shorter than the last one. The last one was like 30 minutes. I have no idea how long this one is, so if it's close, then I'm an idiot. But I hope that this can help some of you guys out. And if you haven't seen the first one, definitely check it out. And I hope you guys got some good information out of it. So that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.